Hi, my name is Melissa Oberg. I'm from the Occupational Therapy Program at Midwestern University. And for my activities analysis class, I created an occupation-based kit called Seeds for Change. So this particular kit I have designed with refugees in mind. Around the world right now, there's a huge amount of people being pulled out of their countries and relocated in others, including here in the States. And I think as occupational therapists, we play a really important role in being able to not only understand the trauma of these people and where they're coming from and what they've been through, or have an idea of that, but also ways to tap into their old passions and their old life to really try to bring meaning into their life here in the States. So I chose plants because I think that plants are a way to bring a lot of meaning. I think with plants you're able to create yourself a space, whether that's in a living situation inside of a house or maybe outside in a garden. I also think that plants have the ability to bring habits and routines into your life. Taking care of them, watering them, and bringing an annual schedule maybe for a garden, I think can bring meaning to your year. I also think that in having a garden, you're able to provide for your family, which could also be a really meaningful occupation for somebody. So, most importantly, though, plants have the ability to transcend all borders. Everybody understands food. Everybody understands plants. People understand nature. It's just part of who we are as humans and what we need to survive. And so I think that plants provide a really unique opportunity and a launching pad for us to really start working with our clients. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and break down the kit that I have. Within my kit, I have a watering can. You can get this at IKEA. I've got all kinds of different pots. Some are kind of lightweight bamboo, others are big heavy ceramic pots. All of these shapes and sizes can be bought at dollar stores, thrift stores, Ross. You can get them anywhere. I also have some garden shears and some trimmers, as well as a spade. These can be purchased at a garden shop. Work gloves, same deal. Potting soil, same deal. Garden shop. I've got some rocks that I was able to collect from outside. Some seeds that we're going to be working with today. A couple other little tools that we can use for planting and starting seeds. And those are also from garden stores, except for the little eggshells, and those actually come from my refrigerator, which I'll talk about in a minute. Finally, I do have some additional resources that I can go into and talk about here in a little bit. So, without further ado, I will show you my kit in action. I have a ceramic pot. This one has a hole in it. And this is an example of more of like a permanent fixture. Like you're going to take your seeds, you're going to plant them in here, and they are going to continue to grow in this pot as they flourish into a healthy plant. So I'm going to start off by taking these rocks and dropping them into the bottom of my pot. They're going to help provide great drainage and prevent root rot. Now I'm going to take some handfuls of soil. I'm okay with getting my hands dirty, so I'm not using my gloves, but if that seems like that's a barrier for your client, I would recommend offering them gloves, or maybe they also enjoy this. So I'm just going to gently put the soil in the pot. It's not exceeding the edge of the pot. And with my finger, I'm going to go poke a couple half-inch deep holes around the surface of the pot, and each pot has about an inch between, each hole has about an inch between it. Those are specific specifications for these seeds that I have here, but every seed packet that you get has specific instructions on what is most beneficial for these seeds. So now that I have my little holes, I'm going to take these little seeds and drop each one in the holes. And now gently brush the soil back on top of them. And now I've created a cute little space for these little seeds to grow. I'm going to take a little splash of water and just gently soak the soil. And now I will put this in a windowsill, and the heat of the sun will help tell that little seed that it's time to start growing some roots, and hopefully in anywhere from around a couple weeks, you'll have some little sprouts that start coming out of the soil. So there's our flower pot. We also have these other methods for seed starting, and these are small little containers, each for an individual seed. And the idea behind these is that you would start them like this and eventually transplant them out to your garden. So I will take my little eggshell, fill it up a little ways with soil, not all the way, and then again using my finger, make a little hole and drop the seed in, cover it up, put a splash of water in it, and we're good to go. These eggshells have holes in the bottom of them for drainage. Drainage is really important. So you would follow the same procedure with these plastic plant trays, where you fill all of the segments up with seeds and eventually transplant them out to your garden. So that's the kit. That's how you use it. And now as an OT, I'm starting to think about ways that I need to adapt this to meet my clients where they're at and to get them started working with this project. So in this case, I would be considering some locations that feel either safe for someone who's feeling kind of insecure and maybe a little intimidated by their new environment, maybe a small, quiet patio, versus someone who maybe feels a little bit more comfortable and enjoys being around people. Then maybe I would take them to a community garden to work on some of these activities. All that I'm considering is ways to help them be successful in these process performance skills as they move through the activity, as well as motor. So when it comes to grading this activity, I'm thinking about language barrier, especially with this population. So I have created a series of pictures that you can use step by step so that they're able to still have means of communication without actually using English. So this is a way to grade the activity down. You could also grade the activity up by using more complex English, more detailed instructions, and have them follow along that way. What I want to do now is split my population. So I've been talking about refugees as a whole, but for the rest of this I want to talk about how you would use this for kids in the refugee population and how you would use this for adults, specifically with grading in mind. So if I'm working with a child and we've planted the seed and that was enough, great. But maybe it wasn't. Maybe they're really excited about it and they like this activity. And so I would grade the activity up by increasing the amount of planting that they can do and maybe have them help me move around some of these pots to create a nice space, maybe make their own little garden with some of the pots. Maybe the kiddo is not into planting at all. And so then I might use my dinosaur claw to bring them outside where they're able to just play in the dirt and kind of create that connection with the dirt and the soil and see kind of what's living there and what's going on in the dirt. using this, and that would be a way to grade it down. When I'm thinking adults, maybe you present the idea of them planting, and that's just too much for them. They don't want something else to take care of. So in that case, I would grade it down and I would back off a little bit, and maybe I would do some sort of plant-based craft where they were able to kind of have a little more, a less stimulating activity. Or you could use a book of flowers or plants and maybe flip through that with them and see what they're interested in, see what colors they like, see what foods they like, what they're drawn to, that you can then implement as you start grading the activity up once you're a little bit more comfortable and once they are a little bit more comfortable. Now, say they plant the seeds and they're loving it and you want to grade the activity up, then that would be a way to maybe help them start planning a full garden. Maybe, talk to them about growing seasons, how frequently you need to water in this new environment, and what is just kind of what it takes to plant a whole garden. And that would be a really cool way, I think, to grade it up. So this is my kit. The components of it are fairly simple, but I think what you're able to do with it can be pretty complex and pretty meaningful. I think that Seeds for Change and by using plants, is a really unique way to help bring meaningful occupations back into the lives of these refugees. So I hope you enjoyed this presentation, and I'll see you at the fair.